Hey, Tommy from the Run Testers with another running shoe review. In this video, we are going to be looking at the Asics Fuji Lite 6. Let's have a look. The Asics Fuji Lite 6 costs £125 or $130. It weighs 244 grams or 8.6 ounces for men in a size 8, and the drop is 4mm. The Fuji Lite 6 is a versatile trail shoe designed to offer a good mix of comfort and speed thanks to a balanced layer of FS Blast Plus midsole. That layer aims to provide a cushioned ride with a good level of energy return, as well as promote a natural feel whether you're heading out for a fast short session or a long distance effort. The upper is made from a lightweight engineered mesh that's built for breathability on the trails, while a healthy layer of Asics Grip outsole rubber provides protection and grip across a variety of surfaces.
Quick word on fit then. I ran in my regular Asics size, which is a UK 8.5, that is a US 9.5. I really like the fit of these. I think there's a really generous toe box, which is one of the standout things here. You've got loads of wiggle room and clearance across the top of the toes. I think they feel really nice and airy up front. Loads of good forefoot volume, which I would say is great for long hauling. And when it comes to fit, at least, in that respect, they definitely have the hallmarks of a shoe that I'd be happy to run an ultra in. Talk about more about the midsole ride a bit later on in terms of going ultra, but fit wise I think they are thumbs up for ultra. Midfoot lockdown for me was great. I had no slipping in the heels. I really quite like the way that they cinch across the top of the foot. It's not narrow, but they dial in sort of really nicely and hold the top of my foot really well. So overall I thought the fit was really good. You've got ample padding in the heel collars as well. It does add a bit of weight but beefs up that comfort. Overall, I would recommend going true to size.
So the fit for me in this shoe is absolutely spot on. It's really, really comfortable. There's plenty of space for my big toe and around the forefoot as well. And it's not a particularly lean shoe in the midfoot either. I do find it quite a comfortable fit across the whole length of the shoe. And there's a nice level of padding around the back and around the ankle collar. Not so much on the tongue. It's quite a thin tongue, but I didn't have any problems with it at all. But I would say basically it's a really, really comfortable shoe. Definitely the right sizing that you'd want for a trail shoe, and I would stay to my UK size 8, which is what I normally buy shoes in. So the Asics Fuji Lite 6 is basically a daily trail shoe that's designed to tick a lot of boxes. You can use it for faster stuff. It's designed to be comfortable and cushioned. It's basically a sort of workhorse daily shoe that's meant to be quite versatile. And I've used this shoe over a variety of different terrains. I've actually had the opportunity to go over to Switzerland and run in the Alps across the mountains with Asics to test this shoe out, as well as running across the South Downs and the muddy routes that are around my house as well. And I think it really does tick a lot of boxes. It is a shoe that is very comfortable to wear. The FF Blast Plus cushioning is nice and soft, but there's not loads of it, so it doesn't feel like there's loads on your feet. It's not something like the Trabuco Max or something like that, where you just feel like you've got a really big shoe on your feet. It does feel like a very lightweight shoe. But if you're running on harder surfaces, you can that softness really does come out, and it does feel more like a road shoe when you're running on that hard ground to get a bit more comfort out of it. But when you're out on the softer trails, when you're running over rocks and things like that, you still get a good deal of control over it as well. The thing I'd say about the shoe is that it feels quite natural, so it's quite a flexible shoe, and with the nice comfortable upper, it does feel like a nice shoe for doing lots of miles in as well. So I've done up to about 25k in this shoe over the South Downs, and I found it absolutely really comfortable to wear across those longer distances. So I definitely have it as a shoe down for running longer distances, but you can do versatile training it as well. It is definitely a shoe that feels a bit lighter on the feet than a lot of trail shoes that are really designed for that sort of durability and stuff. So this is really that tick all the boxes for different types of runs that you want to do. It's probably a good shoe if you run park run on more traily park runs, because it does feel like a shoe that is designed to be a little, you can pick up the pace in it as well. So the terrain that I've run in this shoe is a mixture. So as I said, I've been on muddy areas around my house, and it feels pretty good on those. It's not the most formidable outsole you're going to get on a shoe. If you're out in the Lake District and you're running through bogs, you're probably going to need a bit more formidable lugs on this, but absolutely fine for most sorts of trails that I do. Up on the downs, which is a mix of rock and mud and gravelly areas as well, absolutely fine, feels really comfortable. And up on the mountain, so when I was up in Switzerland, I actually had to run with Tom Evans at one point across, I think it was about 15k of the mountain, so it was going uphill, downhill, all over the place over the Alps, and I had to keep pace with him along that route. And it felt great for that. I definitely felt like I could maintain a nice, comfortable, fast pace for me, which is about 4 minute 30 kilometers on the mountains, which is pretty fast for me running on the mountains. I don't normally run fast on the trails, and it's just felt very comfortable for it. So what I'd say is it's basically a very comfortable all-round trail shoe. There's nothing really stands out about this shoe. It's not the most cushioned shoe out there. It's not the fastest shoe out there, but it just ticks a lot of those boxes. And for me, it's probably the shoe that I'd pick most likely to pick up from the Asics trail range if I just wanted one trail shoe to tick a lot of boxes. So yeah, solid shoe in the testing that I've done in it, and I had no issues. I found it to be very comfortable for all the runs I've done.
So in testing, I've done around 20 miles in the Asics Fuji Lite 6. All of it on runnable trail, nothing mountainous or particularly steep and challenging. So you're going to have to bear that in mind with everything that I'm about to say. This hasn't been on kind of alpine trails, just stuff that I can run around close to me. My longest run was 90 minutes on feet, and I did some road commuting to get to those local kind of bits of off-road that I have access to. Now, what I'm going to say is this is a trail shoe that I really get on with. It's really got what I like in a trail shoe. The platform is energetic, but it's consistent. There is plenty of stability, good reliability, good ground feel. It's cushioned, but it's not over cushioned. It's not particularly bouncy, but there is a bit of energy coming back. And this midsole here, this Flight Foam Blast Plus midsole, does take the edge off the trail. I find there's a smoothness in the turnover that really creates a good balance of sort of comfort and control as well. I found I could sort of glide across the trail in this shoe with a softness to the platform, but crucially still feeling like I'm connected to that trail underneath. I like to be able to feel some of the ground coming up. So you still get that ground contact and the connection that's maybe a bit lost when you sort of move to some of the bigger stack trail shoes that we're seeing, the likes of the sort of Hoka Mafate 5, which I've tested recently, or the North Face Vective Endurance 4, which we did a bit a while back. It's a bit softer as well than a Hoka Speedgoat 5. I think I've got sort of much more kind of Trabuco vibes from this shoe, which I like that shoe as well, so that's a thumbs up. For a trail shoe, another standout thing is how light they feel. There is plenty of agility and they feel nice and nimble. They definitely feel fast and I can pick up the pace, but then there is enough cushion for when I'm dropping back as well. Now, I wasn't taking on anything too tricky, nothing rocky or overly rooted, no sort of terribly difficult or debris-strewn descents. But they can pick their way through lightly cluttered trails with no problem at all. They're happy stepping on roots and bits and pieces like that as well. They also handled the firmer ground well, which is I think another standout here. Most of what I've done has been runnable, the stuff that you can really attack, kind of firm, compact, not too wet and slippy because it's mainly been dry in the miles that I've done. And they feel absolutely made for that kind of attackable terrain. This is a shoe that I think I would pick if I were going to go on kind of stuff that I could have a crack at and racing trails up to the marathon distance for sure. Now in my tests, the grip from these 4mm lugs, the Asics grip outsole, I've also found excellent, but big caveat is that I've not used them on anything like slippy rocks or slick steep downhill, so I can't judge them for that. Now, I think some runners who are going to be taking on rocky or really debris-strewn trails might also want a bit more protection in the toe box. There's not really much overlays here or any sort of guarding, but for what I run in the UK here, I'm happy to trade some of that protection for a shoe that just feels lighter and a bit more agile. Verdict then, and I really like what the Asics Fuji Lite 6 has to offer, particularly for the price. Strikes me as a really good value trail shoe. It's great moving from road to trail. It's well built for short to medium distances as well. I think it could be a really good shoe for people who want to go ultra, who don't mind a shoe that's offering a bit more directness, though I think fans of bigger cushion on the trails might find they want more softness, particularly when you look at some of the newer shoes that we're getting that offer that. But I really like the balance. It's kind of sort of got that sort of trail shoe with a good combo of agility and speed and some lightness, but retains some of the cushion for good protection. It's got a little bit of road shoe DNA, basically, is how I feel it. Maybe that's why I like it crossing over from that. I do think it's probably going to suit runners who want to go a little bit faster in it, but I also think the Fuji Lite 6 hits a happy medium between some of the trail shoes that we're getting now that have that kind of bigger stack. They're softer, they're more propulsive, they're maybe a bit more bouncy. And the more traditional rides that were all about kind of ground feel and sometimes came up a bit too firm. This shoe sits somewhere in between, and I think that is a great place to be.
So my verdict on the Asics Fuji Lite 6, I think it's a great shoe for the price. I think it's a really good quality trail shoe. I think it's got a nice mix. It feels cushioned and soft when you need it to be. It doesn't feel particularly heavy. It feels like it's quite accessible. So if you're going out and you're doing road to trail, so you're going out to do park runs that have got mainly trail sections on, I think it's a great option for that because it's comfortable, but it also feels like it's fairly nippy as well. It doesn't feel like a slog shoe like a lot of trail shoes can do if they're designed for long distance and protection. This feels like a shoe that fits more in the middle, that you can use for lots of different things. Definitely a shoe that's very much focused on the comfort side of things. If I was to compare it with a road shoe, I probably wouldn't compare it with an Asics road shoe because I don't think there's an equivalent, but I'd probably say it's more like something like the New Balance Rebel or something like that, where it's very comfortable to use for faster sessions, but you can use it for more comfortable efforts as well. But it's probably a shoe that's really, really better designed if you want something that's a little bit more performance based. I think this is a really good option for that. But overall, it just ticks a lot of boxes. Very good, solid all-round trail shoe and not too expensive either. So yeah, big fan of the Asics Fuji Lite 6. That's it from us on this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and click that little bell. If you're going to catch and play, you can find it to our podcast, which comes out a couple of times each month. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you next time.